Listen to these words and notice how you feel. You don't need to harden to survive. You need to design your life to hold you. I was so struck when I read those words. They come from a book written by today's guest, Dr. Ute Liersch. And we are kicking off a new series on the Being at Work podcast, a series called Reframing Resilience as Flexibility. I'm your host, Andrea Butcher, and I'm going to be coming right alongside you as we are learning together, because too often resilience is mistaken for toughness. And I know that so much of my life is powering through, pushing harder, refusing to bend, and that is not serving anyone. So Dr. Ute challenges this thinking. She believes that if you don't yield, you will eventually break. And that is exactly why we're starting this series with part 1, yielding. In our conversation, Dr. Ute explains why yielding isn't weakness at all. It is the foundation of psychological flexibility. You'll hear why noticing what's going on inside of you is the first step towards resilience, and how simple everyday practices like slowing your breathing after a tough meeting can create the space to bend instead of break. And at the end of our conversation today, listen in as Dr. Ute gives us a personal yielding assignment. I promised her, and now I'm promising you, that I will report back in the next episode on what I learned, and I hope that you will join me. Dr. Ute, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. And wow, it's so weird to listen to my own words.
Hey, those are some good words.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
So what did you mean when you wrote those words? You don't need to harden to survive. You need to design your life to hold you.
I come from a culture, a German, or shall I say Bavarian culture, where this idea, and I think we find this across many different cultures, where this idea of, in English you say, keep calm and carry on, or what doesn't kill us make us stronger, or, every hit you deserve makes you a better person. And I've been living according to that, of course, because it came, I was thrown into a world where these premises were lived as the truth. But as I saw in my own life, it didn't really hold true, because when life becomes really difficult and you cannot carry and bear everything any longer, and you have this understanding that you have to carry and bear everything, and you cannot, and here comes a magic word, yield. The only other option is to break. And there was a moment, it's not just one moment, I'm unfortunately not blessed with having this one epiphany in my life, but I run around in life and learn consistently. There was this one time when I was at home, back home in Germany, and I drove through a forest where there are just fir trees. And the fir trees, they're very tall, right? They grow very quickly. And if there is a bit of a wind, they just fall over like toothpicks. And it was after a stronger wind, and you saw really kilometers of these fir tree forests. They were just destroyed. And then I came home to have a cup of coffee with my mother, and my mother said, this bloody bamboo, I've taken it out again and again and again, and the thing just is unbeatable. It comes up all the time. And look, it's been windy and it's still standing. And she said it in this voice. And that was something really interesting, it was a huge learning curve for me in this moment, because I realized it's the same area, right? We are talking 3 kilometers apart. There is the rigidity that has fallen over, and there is the yielding and the bending that has survived. What does it teach us? And it teaches us that this idea of running life like a demolition derby, of having to take one hit after the other, as is sold as resilience, is utter nonsense. And then, of course, I started to look at what does the word resilience actually mean? Because, we are in a time where we are using so many beautiful words, but we forget to actually sit down and ask ourselves, where does this stuff come from? What is the original intent of that particular word? And there I realized that it comes from engineering. And the idea, if you allow me to say this quickly, the idea of resilience is that they put metal between a metal sheet between two hands, and then they stress the metal. So what the metal does, if the stressor is strong enough, if there is enough power, the metal starts to yield. So resilience is then measured, not in any shape or form, by the yielding downwards, but by the metal's ability to come back.
Wow.
So for me, in my psychological brain, what does this teach me? Number one, if you want to become resilient in your life, life has to offer you enough stress that you are unable to bear, carry, or hold the stressor any longer. If you don't have a stressor with that power, you're never going to learn resilience. Number one. Number two, if the stress is too much to bear, you have to yield. Yielding is a healthy, normal, much needed ability to work with a stressor. Number three, once the stressor is changing, we have the ability and the adaptability to come back to a new normal. And this has to be integrated in your day-to-day life. Because when you are a mother and you have really difficult days, I have not yet met a mother who then says, oh, well, let's just leave the kids in the cellar. We have cellars in Germany. They don't do this in the UK. So the cellar is the thing under the underground, just so for the English to understand. No, you still take care. So what you need to bring into your life is the ability to yield so that you don't break, but that you come to a place where you can incorporate what you've learned to become resilient. And that is done moment by moment, breath by breath, step by step, day by day.
Yeah, so it's not fighting against life. The words that are coming to mind for me are like radical acceptance of what is. So give me a practical example, because I feel like most of the time I'm running around in my life trying to eliminate obstacles, trying to keep myself healthy, trying to do all the things that alleviate challenge.
Yeah. So there is a wisdom in there, and here comes the body in, is we need to understand what we can alleviate, or if we use a broader word, what we can control, and we need to understand what we can't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you cannot control the boss you are having, let's say you're working in an environment and the person you are working for is very difficult. Not many of us are in a place where we can turn around and walk out, right?
Right.
We somehow need to manage it. So the majority of the people I work together with are in a huge amount of avoidance that there is a difficulty, right? I shouldn't feel difficult. I should not take these problems home. I shouldn't be, excuse my language, pissed off by how the people look at me.
Mm-hmm.
All of these, I should not. This comes from an intrinsic understanding that I should not have problems. I should be able to take the hit. I shouldn't feel anything. I should just, like a robot, function. But that's not how we work as humans.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go into acceptance, because for me, acceptance, I've done my thesis on acceptance, is one of the most brutal things we have to engage with in life. Before we come to acceptance, we need to become aware what is actually going on. What does my mind tell me? How does my body feel? Where am I in that particular situation? And We can use the word radical. I prefer the word authentically or genuinely. Acknowledge this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So stopping the fight with yourself.
Yeah, that feels gentler. Radical acceptance almost is like, again, a should. I should be okay with it.
Yeah.
And so what I hear you saying, I mean, it is about flexibility. It is about openness.
But we can only be open and flexible, or we can only engage in these concepts of openness and flexibility if we do the first step. And this is acknowledging what is there.
Acknowledge what is there.
Right? And this has got nothing to do with judgment. So he is a horrible person, or she is not very nice, or they are bad. This is something where we are bringing our life charge, our energy into the outer world. Let's just pause here for a moment, because this doesn't help you to really authentically acknowledge, where am I?
Yeah.
I've worked with people who have dragged themselves into work for years, coming into London at a particular station, having to pause there for half an hour, breathing through a panic attack in order to then go to the job. And my first question was, what do you think a panic attack tells you? Oh, well, it's just, I shouldn't have that. And now give me something that I can get rid of the panic attack. Or can you do some meds? And all I'm saying here, and this is why it's a tall order.
Yeah.
Is to pause and to be really true with yourself, what's going on. Because with a particular person, working for about 6 to 8 weeks, this was the first time when we came to a point where that person was able to say, I was afraid to go to work. And no, this has not changed the horrible boss, the toxic environment, the narcissistic CEO, the KPIs which are unreachable. That has not changed. But what it has changed is that the person, for the first time in their life, took themselves seriously and showed respect for their inner world. And now we can start building.
So just acknowledging, I'm feeling this because I was afraid to go to work. Yeah, so it's not about anything out there. It's about what's happening within me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's step one.
Yeah.
Now what do I do with that?
That's a question I get asked very often because it sounds so easy. If it would be easy, I think I would be out of a job, because we humans are fantastic in avoidance. Yeah. Because think about how it works in the outer world. You come into a room, you see there's a broken glass. We are putting it together and we're putting it in the bin. The broken glass is gone. We never think about it, right?
Right.
So our deep understanding of how to do with something, how to do away with something when it's broken, when it's not functioning, when it doesn't do what we think it should do, is we take it and we chuck it away and then it's gone. So we do the same in the internal world, because that feeling of anxiety is not really helping me. I'm trying to get rid of it. That feeling of imposter syndrome is not really helping me. I'm trying to ignore it. The feeling of sadness and grief, well, I shouldn't do that. So I'm trying to not have it. And what do? Look, we have more sex, we drink more alcohol, we have to work more, we have a greater career.
Right.
The other person is always the idiot. It's never me, right?
Right. We distract ourselves.
And that's avoidance.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to acknowledge, wow, that's what life is serving me at the moment. Out of whatever reason, I keep the reason out. That what life serves me at the moment is so difficult that I can't hold it any longer. That's the acknowledgement. So I need to yield. And yielding means to give away that fantasy of I am perfect in demolition derby. Doesn't matter how much you hit me, I always jump up again. Yielding means to truly understand, wow, if I'm not yielding now, I might break. And that's a very different ballgame.
It's a lot.
I know.
So how does one develop the skills to yield? I mean, I'm thinking about how I have built a life to protect myself, you know? Even though this is like, I'm a coach, this is the work I do. I have a feelings wheel behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to someone that's asking, like, how do I learn how to yield? What are the skills?
So one sentence I say that frames it before we go maybe in more practical examples is, when the world speeds up, I need to slow down.
Mm.
So very often, of course, we have a lot of time pressure and we are fast, 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 fast. But when I take a day apart with people and I say, okay, tell me how your day looks like. So from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. What do you do on a normal day? And then I ask them, what is the speed? What is your life speed in that hour or in these 30 minutes, right? From 0, cool as a cucumber, to 10, I'm just racing like a race car. So we measure that. And then I'm going to ask them to show me or to tell me these different types of actions you're doing. Are they generally depleting to you, or are they nurturing? What makes them depleting? What makes them nurturing? So now we have a proper basis on which we can make an analysis, right? So if there is no one particular thing where we say, I'm always doing this and it's something that I cannot in any shape or form avoid, and it is rushing. Washing the dishes is one of these things, right? Which is really interesting. And it annoys me and I have to do it all the time because it's a repetitive thing. I like to have these repetitive things because I say, look, there's one thing in your day which you seem to do every day for about 10 or 15 minutes. What do we need to do that we make this thing something that is not depleting any longer, but centers you in the moment? How can washing a cup help you to be present in the here and now, rather than flitting to the boss who is not standing with you in the kitchen?
Right.
Or the dream holiday you so want to have, but you're probably not able to afford. What can we do? So this is something very similar. It sounds totally ridiculous, but it's very practical. It doesn't cost extra time. But in these 5 or 10 minutes, what the person actually trains from a psychological perspective is detachment from negative thoughts that are situated in the future or in the past. That's the stuff that pushes hypothetical anxiety up, up, up. It brings us into the ability to detach from them and to refocus on something that helps the parasympathetic nervous system, so the calming system, to start working again. So when I talk about yielding, that is not going away for 5, 10, 12 days to this most amazing yoga retreat on the top of a mountain in Thailand.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is, where is the one moment in your day where you can train this? Where are these 5 deep breaths after you come out of a terribly, terribly negative meeting? Where is your ability to notice where your breath is after these meetings? And how can you bring your breathing down to the belly? This is not going to change the CEO. This is not going to change a toxic environment. But what it changes is your ability to be resilient. And from a resilient point, you make better decisions than from a point where you are hunted and consistently in fear.
So back to your example with the woman who has a toxic boss, and she realizes, I am afraid to go to work.
Yeah.
That's the first step of yielding, because she's just been really honest with herself about how she's feeling, right?
Yeah.
So it's good, because you're not talking about yielding to the situation. It sounds like it's yielding to just however you're feeling, letting that be okay.
Yes. And it's if you allow me to rephrase a little how you said it.
I wish you would.
So I would love for people to stop saying just, because the word just indicates or has two meanings. The first one is it has got something to do with fairness. And quite often when we have to yield, it has got nothing to do with fairness. And secondly, it indicates easiness. And what I'm asking you to do sounds very easy, but it's really bloody hard.
Yeah.
So when we say, oh, I just have to notice, I promise you tomorrow, and I promise everyone who is listening right now, tomorrow you will have forgotten to, in vertical comma, just notice. Because noticing is a full-time job. And noticing means to be open to every single sensation you are having. So when you are noticing that you are in deep fear, it's an openness to notice that. Where you go is into avoidance. So it's quite hard, and it's really difficult what I'm asking people to do. Is to, when you go into an office and you know this is a very difficult situation, is to pause and to say, what's going on right now? Where is my belly? It's probably in my left toe, right? Do I have bumblebees or do I have hornets in my belly? Or elephants? I don't know. But you need to come back, align with your own sensations, because then you walk in as a whole person, not just a figment of imagination of, I'm the demolition derby guy.
Yeah, it embodied. Is noticing the same as yielding? Noticing is a part of yielding. You said noticing is a full-time job.
Yeah. I think if we don't notice, we can't yield.
If we don't notice, we can't yield.
So not in the sense of conscious yielding, right? So this idea of noticing is really, is going more and more into self-awareness. This is not in any shape or form that self-love, that narcissistic social character of look at me, or I'm idolizing myself. This is in no shape or form linked to that. What it is, let me give you maybe a graphic example. Imagine you could stand in front of the mirror and not only see your skin and your hair and your nails and your makeup, your rings. I have a lot of rings. People don't see me. I've got 10 fingers and I would love to have one on every finger.
They're fabulous. I see them.
But you could also see your sensations, your emotions, your thoughts. How does my body feel right now in space with the situation I'm in? Imagine you have such a magic mirror. This is noticing. This is not about, oh, shit, I feel crap. Excuse my language, guys. I come from Bavaria, we swear. This is about, oh, okay, I feel like crap. Oh, and I don't like feeling like this. Because this gives you the ability to become whole again, rather than to take yourself apart, telling yourself off for feeling how you truly feel. And in there, not being authentic and not bringing this calm authority of authenticity into life.
Life is moving so quickly and there's so much. And I feel like we talk so much about efficiency and maximizing and getting a lot done. And so, I mean, there's a part of me that's so resistant. It's, yes, I want to be present and aware, but I don't have time to yield.
So when life really serves you a lot of pressure, I don't think you have a choice. Yeah. If life puts a mountain onto your shoulder, you don't yield in a conscious sense, you're gonna break. The demolition derby for any car goes one direction only. So we can kid ourselves for a long time, and if the pressure is not high enough, you can run for a long time. And if you are more higher in your social economic status, you can have better things, right?
Yeah.
Even the drugs you are taking are of higher quality. So yes, you can avoid the reality of life. It's gonna bite you at one day.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you die before. That can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't yield, you are going to break. It's going to show up in an illness. It's going to show up in an accident. It's going to show up in your life. Life is going to force you to slow down.
You know, in what it also will show up, you know that everyone is obsessed nowadays with being happy. So this happiness obsession all the time. I personally don't do happiness. I think it's the wrong word.
What do you mean you don't do happiness?
I think happiness is overrated. I totally. I really honestly engage with what I call joy. And joy for me is this as a picture. My brain thinks in pictures, guys. So I want to give you my picture of joy. Joy is for me like a butterfly that lands on my hand. So what the majority of the humans do, they grab it because we don't want it to go and get away. So of course now we killed the butterfly and joy is dead. What we have to learn is we have to learn to appreciate the joy and allow the butterfly to flutter away, knowing it comes back, right? If you are so busy in avoiding to yield, how the hell are you going to see that butterfly? You can't. So again, when people work with me and they say, and I love that you said that, thank you so much. I'm too busy to do that. I said, look, it's your life. It's your choice.
But if you don't yield, you are going to break.
If the pressure is high enough, gonna break.
Who knew that we were going to go so deep into yielding? Yeah. I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
I think that this is a really powerful conversation, and I want to give it the time and the space that I believe it deserves. Yeah. What if we did a series, and today is all about yielding? We'll do a series on resilience. Well, I mean, the beginning of your book is about reframing resilience, which I feel like is what we started to do today.
Correct, yeah.
It's not toughness, it's flexibility. Yeah. And yielding is such an important part of that process.
Yeah.
What do you think about doing a series?
I can say yes in English and I can say ja in Deutsch. I mean the same. And yeah, I mean, people don't see me smiling. Absolutely.
So then give us, give our community, what should we be, give us some homework or give us some encouragement. What should we take from this initial conversation to develop more psychological flexibility in our own lives?
I give you two things. First, for me, everything is around process. So, and I want to give you a process that works for whoever is listening in whatever situation you are in. So I will give you an overview and then we go into the detail. But the detail, for everyone who listens, you have to adapt it to your life. So the overview is we are always going to use a scale from 0 to 10. 0, absolutely yes. 10, never gonna happen, Ute. What are you talking about?
Okay.
And I need you to measure everything on that scale.
Okay.
You are only working from 0 to 3. Whatever I do with you, if you say, Ute, this sits on a 4, it's out of question because it is too much for you to do right now in the situation you are in. And like everyone on this planet, we took too big of a bite and then we didn't like the bread any longer. It's nothing to do with the bread. It's nothing to do with us biting. It's just not evaluating properly how much we can take. So guys, 0 to 10, and you only go from 0, 1, 2, or 3. That I give you a yes. The rest I give you a no. Okay. So I want you to think about if you are able to put an alarm into your phone. And this alarm goes off every day. And now I'm giving you different options. Can you do this every day? From 0 to 10? Write a number down. If it's more than 4, perfectly okay, I'll give you more option. Can you do this 6 times a week? Can you do this 5 times a week? You know where I'm going with that, right?
Yes. I can say for me, I can do every day. Yes.
Perfect. So would you share the number, Andrea? You don't have to. You can simply say, no, this is my number. I'm not sharing that.
I feel like that's about a 2.
Perfect. So when the alarm goes off, I'm going to ask you to notice what's going on in your body. And I want you to be able to describe this to yourself. So I'm flustered, I'm calm, I'm super angry, I am ready to kiss the other person, I want to smack their face. I'm bringing you extreme examples.
Yeah. So no judgment, just what it is.
Because I need you to come to a place where you don't judge, guys. Right? Thinking is not doing. We come to that at a later when we do the series together. There's a huge differentiation.
Okay.
Right now we are in the noticing part.
Great.
So again, 0 to 10, how able do you think you are doing that idea of noticing what my body feels when the alarm goes off?
Okay.
You've got a number?
I've got a number.
Perfect. Now I'm adding another piece in here. Can you notice what you are thinking? What are my thoughts in this moment? So now I'm asking you to listen to the content of your brain and mind. Yeah? Again, no judgment. And please do not edit. When I do this with my clients, I ask, vomit on the paper. Yeah? Don't make it pretty. So again, guys, 0 to 10. If you say 2 things, Ute, and this pushes the second one up to a 4, you stay with the first one. That's perfectly okay. Right? And now I'm going to ask you, for how many weeks are you committing to do that? 1 week, 0 to 10. 2 weeks, 0 to 10. 3 weeks, 0 to 10. 4 weeks, 0 to 10.
2 weeks.
Go for it.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm going to set an alarm for the same time every single day. Does it matter what time? I just probably should think about for me what makes sense.
Of course, the radical approaches, and maybe a little bit radical or direct, the radical approach is to do it. I had people who had the alarm going off in really important meetings.
That doesn't work as well.
Which gives you great data. It gives you beautiful data.
Okay.
Right?
But it's harder to do.
It's much harder to do. Then I had people who said, no, I do it every morning at 8 o'clock because this is when I'm not really in communicado with other people, which gives you less extreme data, but it makes us more committed to the process in that lifetime at the moment. So I gave you now 2 options, right?
Yeah.
0 to 10. Where are you going?
Yeah, I think I feel like I'm a definitely in that 0 to 3 range for 4 p.m. every single day over the next 2 weeks.
Perfect.
To notice what's going on in my body, how I'm feeling, and to notice what I'm thinking.
Correct. What we can put on top of it, if this is not enough, it's already a lot.
Oh, it's enough. It's enough.
So now you are on a 5, correct?
Uh-huh.
And can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
How does your body feel on a 5 when I say we can put something on top?
It feels like this. It feels like I could do it, but I've it's a lot.
And now you've just shown yielding. You've noticed what happened in your body. I've given you an option. The demolition derby says, oh, but she knows what she's talking about. She gives me another exercise. I should do that in order to learn faster, because if I learn more in shorter amount of time, I get quick, right? That's the concept of demolition derby, and I don't have time. But what did you do? You were like, ugh, ugh, don't give me another one.
Yeah.
That is the noticing, and that was the yielding.
Okay. Oh, I experienced it.
And this is when my blah blah goes into proper lived experience.
Yeah.
And the moment, guys, you have this lived experience, the moment you are having a somatic, so a physical, a bodily reaction, you are having something that I call wisdom. Because our brain, our mind does knowledge. Beautiful. We need it. Our body is the wise part. And if we don't bring them together, we're going to carry on living a life as we've done over the last 100 years, where we have accrued so much knowledge, but we are not wise. And the splitting in us and the splitting in our groups and the splitting in our society gets more and more and more. So what I'm offering here is to notice once, this is how it feels.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to report back.
That's really important. We need to report back. And this is not about saying this is the right or this is the wrong, or this is, oh my goodness, this is what I thought, or look at this, Ute, I felt nothing for five days.
Yeah.
It's not about this. This is about going into probably one of the most exciting adventures in your life. This is not going up to the moon or jumping from, I don't know, a rocket down, which is probably super exciting, but it's going into your internal world and getting to know how you are. Not who, how.
Getting to know how I am. Okay. Well, we are reframing resilience as flexibility. And I think we have just concluded part 1, which is yielding.
Correct.
And when we come back together for part 2, I am going to report back how I am.
Yeah. And everyone who comes back, I really encourage you to bring that information you have either written down or you recorded or you've drawn or you are keeping in your mind. Remember, our minds are really, really bad in remembering. But if this is the best you can do, that's the best you can do.
You can do.
And if this is the best you can do, that is the best, right? This is yielding again.
Okay.
Then what we do, we take apart what we see and we are reframing. And this reframing, this different perspective taking, is one step into psychological flexibility.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ute.
Thank you. And thank you for this idea.
Yeah. Okay. So next time, we're going to go a little bit deeper into psychological flexibility, and I'm going to share with you how I'm doing. Thank you so much. Thanks for showing up with your heart today and all of this wisdom. And we're going to put all of the notes to the link to the book to encourage our audience to follow along with us on this journey.
Absolutely.
So I'll see you again soon for part 2.
Thank you so much and enjoy noticing.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Let's connect to go a bit deeper. How can I help you? Looking for an executive coach, a facilitator for a team or leader engagement, or a high energy, heartfelt speaker? Learn more and connect with me through our website at abundantempowerment.com. I look forward to co-creating something magical with you.